Our seated good mornings are a great strength move for developing those muscles in the lower back, the erector spinae, that keep us nice and upright and lift that body up. It's also an exercise that is going to work and stretch a little bit in those glutes and the hamstrings, so the back of those legs as well. You're going to want a weight for this exercise. You can use a barbell, you can use a dumbbell, you can use a sandbag, pretty much any weight that you can put up onto your shoulders. You're also going to want a step, so you can use a box like this, you can use a bench, you can use a chair. What we're going to do is we're going to scoot up to the edge of that bench or that chair or whatever you're on, so that we have free movement of the legs here, nothing impeding those legs. I'm going to bring those feet outside of shoulder width here, and I'm going to extend them fairly straight out. I want my feet still planted on the floor so I have good stability, so that I'm not going to have my legs all the way out like this. There is going to be a slight bend in them, but I don't want them right up here because I want to focus on the stretch in the back of the legs. So I'm going to extend those legs on out, outside of shoulder width, fairly straight, just enough bend. I'm able to keep those feet flat on the floor. I'm then going to bring whatever weight I have, and I'm going to bring it up onto my shoulders here, and I'm going to balance it on my shoulders. From here, I'm going to hinge at the waist. Now, however far you can go over is going to depend on the flexibility that you have in those hamstrings, glutes, and low back. If you're only able to go just to here, and then you start to round that back, that's okay. Stop right there. We want to focus, number one, on keeping the back straight throughout this movement. The more stretched out you get, the more flexible you get, the more you'll be able to come further over while keeping that back straight. However, keeping it straight is number one priority. So stop as soon as you feel that back start to round here. So weight up on the shoulders, back staying nice and straight, hinging at the hips, trying to keep those shoulder blades back and keeping that back straight as low as you can get here. You should feel it in that low back. You should also feel a stretch in the back of the legs a little bit. Nice and controlled down as low as you can get, and then come right back up to that starting position, nice and tall at the top. This is also a slow exercise, so slow coming down. Focus on keeping the back straight, keep getting that stretch, and then normal speed back up. Biggest mistake made on this one, number one, by far, is rounding the back. Not focusing on keeping the back straight throughout this movement. A lot of times I'll just see people kind of round on over like this. That's putting all the strain on the low back. We don't want that. We want to focus on the entire posterior chain. Hamstrings, glutes, low back, upper back, everything here. So really focus on squeezing those shoulder blades. If you need to, start off without weight, just the hands up next to the ears. Focus on squeezing those shoulder blades, keeping that back nice and straight. Go through that movement a couple times first before adding weight if you need to. Number two mistake made is not getting good positioning with the feet. Remember, like I said, I want those legs extended on out with just a slight bend. If we're right up here on these, we're not going to be really focusing on the back of the legs at all. So really do make sure that you extend those legs out and have a good base of support here. Last thing to remember, not a speed exercise. This is a slow one, especially as you start to progress up to heavier weight and you're starting to get a lot stronger on these ones. We don't want to increase the risk of injury on any exercise that we do. Our number one goal is to reduce the possibility of getting hurt during an exercise. So make sure, especially as you start to get heavier, slow that movement down. Control with the core coming down throughout that movement. That way we're not coming down quick and overstretching muscles as we go down. So slow on down, and then you can do a little quicker normal speed back up to that starting position. Again, start very light, or you can start with just body weight, just with those hands next to those ears. Get comfortable with this movement and able to keep that back straight, and then you can start to progress up in weight as you build up your strength and your flexibility.